Okay, so we're back. I was reaching for something and my camera got unplugged. And when you unplug the camera while you're streaming, YouTube goes, "Oh, you've ended your video." Eh. So that's where we're at with this one. All right. So I'm waiting for people to come back in the room. I'm doing it yet again. So give me 1 second here. Mm. So part one and part two. Maybe I'll just grab this video, strip it, and just cut it all in one piece and just be done with it. All right, so waiting for people to come back in. Sasquatch is in the room, and now I'm looking for um Patriot Fever. Hopefully he finds me again. The stupid camera got unplugged. Anyway, so looking at things as it is, we are now looking at the stuff and more stuff and other stuff thusly. I'm simply just going to proceed. So anyway, I was talking about this knife versus this knife, and I was going on about where Gerber found itself with their double-edged daggers. Now, essentially, I do actually have a unit here that never existed in the zeitgeist of the world they're in. I actually found this as parts on eBay back in the day. Don't try to find any stuff like this nowadays. It just simply is just not there. But anyway, what I got here is, of all things, it's a Guardian blade. So basically, the small pocket dagger and the Gerber Guardian 1 handle. So basically, it's a downsized version of the Guardian 2, which is basically a not quite so wasp waist handle and kind of not. It's more substantial. Okay, the Guardian 2 compared to the Mark 2 is obviously a more substantial handle design. The blade is not so pronounced dagger. It's more straight. It's kind of more of just a big honking double-edged blade without nearly so much pronounced point. Now, this guy, of course, like I said, never existed in the zeitgeist of the universe. So this is literally one I put together almost kind of half and half, like half jokingly, or if I just thought it'd be kind of cool to see what it actually looked like. So essentially, you have a Guardian blade with a Guardian 1 handle, of which the Guardian itself normally was just a fairly short handle with a fairly short blade. It was a backup on your basically it's a backup. Page reviewer, no, I actually accidentally unplugged my camera because I have the wire looped around, and I went for my desk drawer, pulled out the desk drawer, it pulled the camera plug out of the front of my box, which is in it's a standard position on my desk of having a desktop in the box. So anyway, like I was telling Sasquatch, essentially what I got here is I have an amalgam of a knife that really does not exist in the ethers. So it's a Gerber Guardian 1 compared to a Gerber Guardian blade. Now, I was telling you about the construction on these guys. Now, the Mark II, Guardian, Guardian 1, Guardian 2. There's another one that's like a half sharpened blade and kind of like a blank edge on the back. I forget what that one's called, but essentially it's all basic, same basic blanks, and just how they actually do the grinds. All these Gerbers are made the same way. The blade has a rat tail, has a couple notches on board, and it literally slips into a hollow in the handle, which then epoxy in place. And that's literally all it is for the construction of this guy. Now, technically, that is kind of a weak point where you don't have like a full tang knife and what have you. However, like I said, the Gerbers tend to be a little brittle. You see a lot of these knives for sale, and people have broken the points off because they've thrown them, and they don't like that. They'd rather stick in something soft like a testing medium known as human. Let's express it like that so the YouTube censors don't kirk out on me. It's a test medium known as human versus hard object. Now, that said, you can hear it is actually a pretty decent fit. The only thing I did was I put some tape on there just to hold it in place because it's a loose fit. I'm not going to epoxy these two guys together. This is something I stuck together. And obviously, this handle was kicked out of the factory because it is blemmed. It didn't get a full oxidation on there, and it doesn't have the cat tongue kind of thing all the way through. I think it kind of gives some character though. I kind of like the way it's like smooth on the one spot and kind of cat tonguey on the other one. I kind of like that. Now, technically, there is a version of the Mark II, and when you look at it, the blade is actually at a 10-degree angle. Okay, so the handle is straight, the blade is 10 degrees. And the reason why they did that is so people could stick it in a holster in their boot, and the handle would be kicked out so they could grab, go, stick, at their leisure. So that one is kind of a rarefied Mark II. When it does have the handle kicked out 10 or 20 degrees, whatever it is. So that one is one version. The other version, when you looked at the handle, it actually is grippy. It actually does have like, little, like almost like skateboard tape kind of a feel to it. And literally what they did was they took the handle and they used a metal applying unit. So they literally took like a welder and they're spattering molten metal onto this handle to give it tooth. Now, that was not a cheap process to do, obviously, for, every single handle took like what, 20, 25, 30 additional minutes to make the thing happen and do it correctly. And obviously there was the training, the learning curve and all that stuff. So if you find what's referred to as the cat tongue Mark II with the 10-degree or 20-degree bend on the handle versus the blade, trust me, you got something kind of cool. Because literally what it looks like is, if you look at it, you do this in such a way that, I don't basically stick myself. So basically what you do is you look at this thing and it literally looks like the blade is straight and the handle is cocked off like 20 degrees. That's literally all it is. So essentially, that's one version of these that was kind of out and around. The Gerbers, by and large, they're pretty much collectible at this point. I mean, they're almost like they're too rarefied to actually put in the situations where you're going to endanger them. And if you do break one, guess what? There's no replacements because Gerber stopped making those things a number of years back. And if you do break one, the replacement price is owie. So moving on. What else we got going on here? Hang on one second. What the heck was I looking at? What were we looking at? Let's see here. Hang on a second. Make this thing happen. Do. All right. Well, I'm just gonna cheat this. Gerber paraframes and multi-tools is all I get from them. Well, the multi-tools are actually pretty decent. By and large, I've found that, they just work. Okay. So essentially we now find ourselves looking at the, the learning curve they're in from, well, how else do you say it? But you just got to say it as such. Okay, sound guy. What are you talking about? Okay, I'm pretty sure the Terminator had nothing to do with zombies or brains. However, all right, you're going that route, so we're just gonna have to go that route. Obviously, you guys know, probably have seen, probably have read, Max Brooks, World War Z. Of course, they did the movie with Brad Pitt that was kind of schlocky, really schlocky. Even Max Brooks was quoted as saying that fast zombies are A. Okay. he thought fast zombies were just lame. However, there is, from the Haynes Manual, you can find the zombie survival book. Now, humorously enough, I find these guys really tend to kind of go off the beaten path. They really kind of pick out some stuff that's kind of really just sketch. I mean, they just kind of, this one's really British too. It's like, using the crossbow or the bows and arrows. It's like, what about firearms? Oh, that's right, you're British. You don't have guns. Now, some of the stuff they actually do and say and do in here actually kind of makes some sense. Prepper community type stuff, secondary potential, collateral knowledge of potentially Probably kind of stuff you probably should already know or should already do. Notice I didn't unplug the camera that time. Oof. Anyway, but I found it kind of humorous. It's like, zombie combat and weapons, unarmed combat against the dead, differences in fighting the dead, no heroics, armed combat against zombies, handguns, rifle, assault weapons, shotguns, machine guns, the bow, the crossbow, melee weapons, weird, exotic, and DIY, combat for the elderly, fixed defenses, and zombie profiles. So let's just go over here real fast and see what they actually say, because this is actually Brits writing this stuff. Jump over here to the firearms section, because that's obviously where I'm going to go. So anyway, scrolly. Handguns, experience counts. Ministry of Zombies. Hang on a second. I might need my glasses on this one. It's kind of smaller font, and unfortunately, the age on eyes is not exactly the funnest. So let's see. Handgun instructions. They're talking about what actually firearms will do. Primary and zombie killing with guns. Handgun, close range headshots below 10 meters. Rifle assault gun. Perfect for sweeping small hordes of dead and mobile firing. You just said headshots, goofball. Shotgun, ideal for in-building combat or burst with tightly packed hordes. Good practice to have a shotgun fighter covering your foraging group when inside buildings. Well, duh. Close and personal with a shotgun is pretty much what they're built for. Machine guns. Okay, there's an old joke about machine guns, and the thing about it is machine guns are usually used by the military and they're used by governments simply because they're the only guys who really truly can afford that amount of ammunition to be expended for any period in time is going to be the military or the government. Trust me on that one. I was working some years ago driving a tow truck, and I stopped in this one shop, and I'm looking down, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing ammo crates, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I counted 18 crates of 1,000 rounds of 7.62 ammo. At that point, I looked at the guy behind the desk, and I was like, "You have a minigun, don't you?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I was like, "Who else would have 18,000 rounds of ammo sitting around just in case?" The guy goes, "Oh yeah, we're getting ready to go down to Knob Creek and do the machine gun shoot." And it's like, you're not going to have enough ammo. He goes, "Oh, obviously, we're just going to basically be down there and just kind of quick squirt and we're done." Because if you know anything about a minigun shoots like 6,000 rounds a minute. So basically, if you're talking for a week-long thing, they got 3 minutes of ammo. It's not going to last. Usually, most times people shoot those things, they'll turn the speed down. So scrolling, they're talking about close range, handgun, the AK-47, the Franchi Spas 12 shotgun, which you could ask everybody in the business. The Spas 12 is not a very good shotgun. It's way too many buttons, way too complex, too many things to grab a hold of, too many things to grab you back. It really looks great on camera, but it's really, really not the best thing. Scrolly. The M60 machine gun. I don't know where this guy is finding his information from, but the M60 was state of the art, maybe late 60s, very early 70s. There's way better stuff out there now. Okay, the 60 worked and it was adequate for its time period. It's got a lot of shortcomings. Trust me. The latest iteration of the M60 machine gun is light years away from the previous iterations. It never really was that great. And you always had a bottle of LSA because you were just oiling that thing to, the nth degree to keep it happy. It really, truly was not a good sustained fire weapon at all. Now, this one I think is actually kind of funny. The guy actually gives an analysis for the population of firearms versus the population of the population and country. United States, guns per 100 residents, 88.9. We're the number one rank. Guns for every fighter, yeehaw. Switzerland, 46.3%. Iraq, 37.3%. Like they're really going to share with a non-infidel. Norway's 33.4%. Yeah, I don't really think that the zombies are going to be doing so good in some place that's close to the Arctic Circle. Germany. I think the Germans got more to worry about than zombies. They got Russia right there. Montenegro. Why would you go to Montenegro to say, oh, they got a lot of guns? Angola. More than likely, you're going to wind up in the pot rather than, the zombies getting you. Brazil. Um, Jungles. That's all I got to say about that one. United Kingdom. Yeah. I love this one. Battling the dead with a cricket bat and an unarmed police force. Classy, but ineffective in terms of guns. And Japan, so low it doesn't show up. Rank 171 in the world of population armed versus disarmed. Now, the guy actually does jump out to a couple other things I thought was kind of interesting. He goes on about crossbows. Well, if you saw The Walking Dead, dude, they're doing high speed acupuncture all through that thing with crossbow and bow because, oh, yeah, they're not very loud. Um, Everyday hand weapons locations, a car. Duh. Basically, they're now saying melee weapons. You grab the tire iron. No, don't engage anybody with a tire iron. Weird exotic DIY, throwing stars. No, chainsaws. The combat for the elderly. They're walking around with their walkers, fending off the zombie. Some of the stuff in here is perplexing to say the least, and his ability to go, hey, this looks really cool, let's just throw it in the book. Wow. Patriot Fever saw a 22 LR Gatling gun, and Patriot really started drooling. Yes, I did see that. Essentially, it's the same guys to basically make the 9mm Gatling that feeds off of the long stick, read the 33 round pew pews of the Glock box. And I forget the company that actually makes it. That one, of course, being hand cranked, but they modified it, and it's really funny in the video too. I did see the video. They're like, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, put a drill on it," and they're like, "We could do better than something as unsophisticated as putting a drill on the crank handle." So they actually worked it up, and it actually does kind of look like a minigun. They got the box on board. It has a rate that can be varied. There's a power switch on and off, and obviously it does have the engage button. So they did come up with this thing, and I think the rate of fire was limited to like 600 rounds per minute or something like that. But it is a belt-fed Gatling gun. And if you know anything about Gatling guns, the way a Gatling gun works is essentially it's almost like dialing your old rotary phone. So the 6 barrels or 7 barrels or whatever, whatever configuration you have it set up in. I think that when they had the 22, I think it was 6 barrels. So essentially it's like dialing your phone. It goes around, it has a cartridge, and literally there is like a spiral feed. It takes the round, and as the barrel is going around, it takes that cartridge, takes it off the belt. As it's going around, it slips it into a chamber that's in the barrel. As it goes around, it reaches a certain point. I think it's like 3 o'clock. It then fires around, and then as it's going around, there's another ramp that then pulls the cartridge out and then drops it. So the beauteous thing about a Gatling gun is it's not dependent on the weapon firing to make the weapon fire again. Read like, any of your gas operated or piston operated or any self-loading firearm, most times it has a mechanization involved therein, where it's relying on the previous cartridge to work the rifle in such a way as to extract, dump that cartridge, pick up a new cartridge, put it in place, fire that cartridge, and then go through the cycle yet again. Somewhat akin to like, a car engine. Basically, you have your induction, your compression, your firing, your power level, your exhaust, your restart on the first step. So basically, it's a 4-step process. So the thing about it is with a Gatling gun is because it's an externally powered device, it doesn't need the cartridges to fire for the weapon to actually work. So the only thing that's stopping you from running a Gatling gun is basically battery power and ammunition, and you'll run out of ammunition way before you're going to run out of battery power because that thing eats stuff like candy. So move on. Grandma fights off zombies with dentures. Patriot Fever. Oh man. Okay, Martinez Sasquatch in the room put out something interesting. He said a 22 Magnum Grendel with 30 flush in the gun mag is your best since the ammo. Okay, well, they don't make the Grendel anymore. Grendel is now Keltec. They do make a 22 Magnum carbine, and they do make a 22 Magnum pistol, of which they are fairly high capacity. I think it is either 25 or 30 rounds, and actually the stick is not that big, so it is actually a very compact and ready to be utilized weapon system. That said, I dearly love when people compare the 22 Magnum to the 5.7 basically what's coming out of the FN. Was it the FN 90 or whatever the stupid little thing is? So essentially, the 5.7 by was it 5.7 by 21 or whatever it is, little dinky ass cartridge. They keep going on and on about that. Oh yeah, so much better than the 22 Magnum. 22 Magnum has been doing the job for a really, really long time. And the only thing it really truly gives up over the 22 long rifle is an accuracy edge. It is a little bit less accurate. That said, it's still putting out a 40 grain projectile about 2,000 feet per second, man. That's going to definitely lay a hurt on you. Okay. That's way, way hotter than a 22 long rifle. Okay. The only thing that really goes wrong with 22 long rifle or a 22 Winchester Magnum rimfire is exactly that. It is rimfire. It is not the same thing as a center fire in terms of reliability, and you do give up some slight edge, if not some more than slight edge, if the priming compound is not in the right spot of the rimmed cartridge. I've had that happen before. You basically shoot it, get a dud round, you kick that out, you put the round back in, you turn it 90 degrees so the firing pin strikes on a blank part of the cartridge that wasn't previously hit before, the cartridge fires. Reason being is when they put the priming compound in there, it's in a liquid form. So they put a drop of that in there. They then take the cartridge and they spin it. So if you look at the cross section of a 22 long rifle cartridge, it basically goes down, it hooks a loop, there's a flat section for the head, hooks another loop, and then goes back up. Now, in that hollow section, that is the rim. That's going to be the area that contains the priming compound. They take the cartridge and they spin it. And in the process of spinning, centrifugal force throws that priming compound against the inner walls of that little area that's the head. Now, if you have a little bubble in there or it didn't get completely squished in appropriately, and then you put a primer strike on there, it doesn't fire. So it's not an exact science, and there's a reason why rimfire cartridges are only really down now into like 22 calibers, because most people have got better things to hit with in bigger calibers and more reliable with a center fire style of primer. It's going to go pop. Just sheer reliability aspect. You could put the two side by side. I know there's bazillions of 22 made yearly, but in comparison, the 22 is not nearly as reliable as a center fire round. That's unfortunately how things are in the real world. Patriot Fever. Next Zombie War, you'll see Patriot riding his mountain bike with a Gatling gun trailer carriage. Wow. Yeah, FNP 90. That's what it was, the P90. You see, it's one of these things. The funny thing is, up in the me room, I do actually have a bag of that ammo. I forget where I got it, but I think I snapped it up for a really low price. But it is FN head stamp. Was it 5.7 by 2.5? I actually do have some of that ammo. You never know. I mean, I got some obscure ammo in my ammo collection as a just in case. I got a couple rounds of just about everything just in case. But am I really going to encounter something in 5.7 by 2.5? Probably not, because everything that they say it does, well, I'm sorry, but 223/556 just does better. And the other thing too is also 5.7. Oh my God, that it's like shooting a Tokarev. It's such a loud cartridge. It is unbelievably loud for that little bark cartridge and making something that big bark. Oh my stars and garters. It is loud. Scrolly. Let me see if anything really jumps out at me in terms of my stories. I don't know if you guys heard about it or not, but the guy that was doing the I got this one, sound guy. I got this one, sound guy. But the guy who was doing the come on, squeal. Now you don't get a ding off of that sound guy. I played it. Anyway, so the guy that basically was doing the backdoor action in the Capitol, he's not going to get any charges. Why? Oh yeah, because there's a 2-tier level of justice in this nation, and the Democrats always get nothing. Yeah, he's not getting. Well, he got, and he definitely got. He definitely got. Well, okay, he got fired, but he didn't get he didn't get Well, maybe he did get. Maybe he got what he was. Okay, stop! Stop! Stop!
Death by Shoo-Shoo. Death by.
Okay, I think we got his sound guy. He got fired and not anything else. All right, stop. This one, I cannot tell you how humorous I think this one is. This is one of kind of probably one of those fog of war type of things. But man, I gotta tell you what, this one expressly tickles me. So supposedly there was a raid by the IDF, and they've now confirmed their operations. So the Israelis dressed as doctors and nurses and did a terrorist style raid on the guys in Gaza in a hospital. So Israeli commandos disguised as nurses and doctors raided a West Bank hospital, killing 3 alleged terrorists in a lightning-fast clandestine operation. The Israeli Defense Forces confirmed the operation taking place on Tuesday after Palestinian media released CCTV video showing the people dressed as medical workers and Muslim civilians entering a hospital in Jenin, brandishing assault rifles. The team of IDF and police counterterrorism commanders entered the Ibn Sinai Hospital in Jenin overnight, killing a man identified as a member of Hamas and 2 other suspects, the Israeli military said. Mohammed Jalamane, 27, had contacts with Hamas headquarters abroad and was plotting a terrorist attack in the immediate future, the IDF said. So Mr. Jalamane was at the hospital sitting with a friend who was convalescing after being wounded in an IDF drone strike on the cemetery in Jenin last year. So the undercover commandos entered the hospital, shot the 3 men with silenced weapons, and promptly left. Wow. Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper, quoted unnamed hospital employees who said the commandos entered the hospital one by one wearing disguises. Then the CCTV footage, released by the Palestinian media, appears to show the assault team gathering in the entrance foyer in the hospital at the start of the raid. The first 2 commanders, one man wearing a white doctor's coat and a face mask, the other a woman in a headscarf, passed through the woman, stalking across the tall floor with shortened rifles raised. Behind him, another man wearing medical scrubs carries a rifle with one hand and a wheelchair in the other. In the total, around a dozen commandos, either disguised as medical workers or civilians, seen gathering in the hospital. One man dressed as a devout Muslim with a white prayer cap and a long brown robe, carries a suppressed weapon, uses hand signals to direct the commandos to fan out and cover the corridors and doorways. In the background, several commandos wearing hijabs had their weapons trained on a civilian and been made to kneel against the wall with his hands held high. The civilian's jacket was moved for the hands to tie behind their back. Then the jacket is put over the head as a makeshift hood. Bags of equipment brought in and laid down as one of the commandos put on his balaclava for advancing deeper into the hospital. After less than a minute, the commandos moved on. The hallway was empty, save for the hooded civilian. Second video clip released by the Palestinian media appeared to show inside the room where the 3 Palestinians had been killed. Oh, man, so these guys basically they did basically a terrorist raid on the terrorists. That is how you fight these guys. You use their own tools of stuff against them. Utterly brilliant. Just beyond brilliant. Guys heard about it or not, but supposedly, well, it didn't take long. The next monarch in the UK to go from semi-healthy to jacked up. Wonder if it has anything to do with all the deep action from a few hundred years ago where they had to keep the true royal bloodline, which might have involved more than just a little bit inbreeding. So King Charles has now been diagnosed with prostate cancer and he's seeking treatment. There was other family members that had surgery like sometime before. I have heard essentially the way it works in the British hegemony is essentially one of them is always around to do the deed. You know, they share the tasks of leading and working and doing the things. So if somebody needs to get jacked on or played with or, you know, snipped and tucked and all the rest of that fun stuff, there's always a fallback guy to do the job of that guy. To which I say, what does the king really do in England at this point? Probably not a lot. Probably not a lot. Okay, I mean, you pretty much have like, you know, the government being run. And I actually did ask a Brit once. I said, "What is the purpose of the royals?" And the guy goes, "Oh, they're pretty much like a museum at this stage." Okay, so king getting worked on. Well, I'm sure he's probably going to get better medical care than somebody else in the UK. I have heard those guys sometimes come over here because they don't trust their medical system so well. Yipes. Yipes. Scrolly. I'm not gonna do that one. I'm not gonna do that one. No, I'm not gonna do that one either. Everybody's heard about that one. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not. But I'm gonna quote Jedi General Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi. Quote: "You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious." So, rapper Killer Mike was arrested at the Grammy Awards after receiving 3 awards. Did that really make the news for you guys, or was it just something I found somewhere else? Because for some reason, you don't really hear a lot about these guys really crashing and burning after collecting trinkets from a bunch of other just suck ups going,
"Oh, you're so courageous. You're so brave. You make stuff that sucks. Yay!"
Wow. Oh, Patriot River says he appoints the prime minister, and that's it. Wow. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly the Trump election case in Washington, D.C. has been removed from the court calendar, and not one person is charged with insurrection for January 6th, and public speech is protected speech. Him saying that he thought the election was sketch was well within his rights. So, you, Marxist swine, you lose. So, Fannie Willis has also now admitted the relationship with Trump Georgia case prosecutor she appointed. Oh, man. Excuse me 1 second here. Oh, that's dead. Need go-go juice. Need go-go juice. Got to lubricate. Oh, man. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but of all the people who got busted for drugs, this is probably the one guy you would never ever think it was. But oh yeah, Darius Rucker, aka Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish, was arrested on a drug charge in Tennessee and booked into jail. Yeah, so he's arrested in Tennessee for minor drug offense. Fox News Digital has learned the 57-year-old singer was taken into custody Thursday in Williamson County, Tennessee, according to the Williamson County Sheriff's Office's public information officer. So he was arrested on 2 counts of simple possession, casual exchange of a controlled substance, and 1 count of violation of the state's vehicle registration law. Okay, how much do you want to bet he's driving with dead tags and the cop goes, "Hey, that looks suspicious." Pulls him over and goes, "Oh, hey, Hootie, how you doing? Are you smoking the devil's lettuce?" Possibly. And it's probably one of those states that doesn't have the medical card. Now, I can tell you for a fact, a number of times I'm driving around and it absolutely reeks of weed. And somebody in front of me is just, blazing away as they're driving. Dude, you may as well be having like a bottle of booze open, okay? Because this is the same thing. You're under influence of something. No matter if you say, "Well, I get jacked up on adrenaline, I think I'm straight." No, you're still driving under the influence of something. Patriot Fever, I hate the smell of weed. Well, that's the other thing too, is the stuff they smoke nowadays, it just stinks. It's skunky, it doesn't smell good. Old weed, back in the day. back in the day, well, let me tell you, kid, back in the day when we had our stuff, it was it was
Death.
okay. I'm not that old, sound guy. No, stop at the critical stop. Sound guy. No. Okay, I'm not that old. No, I'm not. Stop. He's doing it again. Sound guy.
You're despicable.
Okay, I'm not that old, okay? I'm actually roughly the same age as Hootie. Yeah, no, don't encourage him. Don't encourage him, okay? No, don't encourage him. Otherwise, we'll be dealing with Oh, stop. Yeah, yeah, you too. You too. Okay, stop. Okay, he'll be just driving us nuts and saying how profoundly it was that he. See,
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
yippee ki yay, mother ding. Okay, thanks. Sound guys, stop. Really? No, 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 no. The Grim Reaper is not knocking at my door. Stop! Sound guy. No! Stop. Stop. Okay, the Grim Reaper is not knocking at my door. Jeez. Anyway, so Hootie got busted. You know, he got a little bit of trouble. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but there's a news story. Let me see if I can't pull it up real fast. And they're going on and on about like the red marks on Trump's hands. It shows that he has a sexually transmitted disease. It is beyond weak sauce. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you just how weak I found it to be. Let me see if I can't find it real fast here. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to really play with. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can't find it real fast. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to cheat this like crazy. See if I can't cheat this real fast. I'm actually like grabbing like a still shot of the video, so hopefully that works. So I'm literally like grabbing a still shot of the video, and hopefully that makes a difference. Hang on a second. I'm really having a cheat here. I should have been better prepared. I admit it. I admit it. Okay, so let's see if that doesn't do it. All right. So anyway, obviously, let me get back over here where I'm seeing myself. Okay, so obviously, you know, picture of Trump. Let me drop my brightness just a little bit more. All right. So obviously, picture of Trump here, right? They're going on and on about. They're going on and on about the marks on his hands. You know, see, obviously, there's like, there. Let me try to do this. Try to do this in such a way that actually makes sense. Okay, obviously you see he's got like marks on the palm, he's got marks on his thumb, he's got marks on his index finger, and then there's some marks along the side of his hand. Now, the thing about it is it's now coming out that they're saying this is, you know, AI generated because there's another picture here, obviously, you know, where you see Trump obviously on excuse me, obviously on another video, and it doesn't really look like that. I mean, if anything, what it might look like to me is it might look like he was playing golf and really playing golf, and maybe like, you know, because he hasn't been playing golf enough and he doesn't have the calluses anymore, maybe he made his hands sore. Now they're saying it was, you know, he's got syphilis. The doctor's like, oh yeah, well, he's got syphilis. Why would he have syphilis just on one hand? Why wouldn't he have lesions like in other places? If he was that really that corrupted with, you know, having majorly nasty bougies going on, wouldn't he be like broken out in other places besides just his hand? Okay, that's all right. You know, he's quote unquote grabbing her by the P word. Is that what that is? Is you guys are now trying to AI insinuate that he's grabbing her by the P word and he got sexually transmitted diseases just on one hand? Yeah, I tend to think, you know, probably he was playing golf. And in the video, it doesn't really reflect it very good. I mean, I've seen the video a number of times. The resolution's kind of and it doesn't. He's like, look, there's nothing on my hands. He's like showing him his hands, and there's no marks. But I think possibly what it might have been is maybe he was playing golf and he basically beat his hands up. Then maybe had the makeup guy put something on there so it doesn't show so much. In the other case, I really don't see it so much in the video. But let me just do something real fast here, and I'm going to cheat like crazy. So give me 1 second here. I'm going to grab a picture of that picture on my my Facebook page, and I'm going to zoom in on that image. and I really don't see it so much. Now, here's the thing: is I supposedly can share screens. So let's just see if I can't do that. Okay, so let's click that button. So window that we're looking at here is going to be that. So let me try sharing that real how that works. So hopefully you guys are seeing that. Hopefully you're seeing that. Click stop sharing. And okay, did that really work? There we go. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about right there. And hopefully I can get out of that now. So let me close this. And hopefully everything's back. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. I mean, obviously I'm running an older computer, but it did work. Okay, so Martinez Sox Ross is saying he did see it. So if you're looking at that still shot of that frame of that video, you don't see any marks on his hand. So I'm tending to think that these guys are playing games because literally AI generated images is all they have at this point. Scrolly. I'm going to probably break off on this one, but I thought this was absolutely hilarious. Somebody posted up a engine in one of the one of the web page, one of the groups that I'm part of on Facebook. And I'm just going to read you the text that obviously I'm not identifying the guy and I'm not identifying what group it is, but it's in Kansas. So it's a 2016 to 2021 GM 1.5 liter turbo engine for sale. Now, the quote that the guy said is actually, I thought was pretty funny. Pulled from a good running 2016 Malibu at 90K to do being hit in the rear, and it was a hit and run trying to recover some of my money for the new car. So he called it a Malibu. So I said, was that from a Chevrolet? Oh, man. Anyway, so I think we're going to break up on this one, folks. I appreciate your kind attention, guys, hanging out with me tonight. Many other things to do on a Tuesday. You guys hung out with me, and I truly appreciate your kind attentions. Good stuff like that there. And I guess, we'll catch up with one another on the next occasion and next iteration of Dude After Dark and good stuff like that there. So we will find ourselves thusly enamored upon one another. What's the ding for? What's the ding? I don't know. Anyway, so you guys hung out with me, and you get a gold star for attendance. I truly appreciate your kind attentions. Sorry for the break in the middle of the video. I pulled the plug on the camera. I might stitch these two videos together, just be done with it. But usually, I just kind of just post the live videos up, and everybody can figure it out on their own time. So, good stuff like that there. So I'm going to break up with this one, folks. Eager continuing as always, you know it, you love it. I will catch you guys next week, unless I put out something sooner. Might put out a knife blog video. I don't know yet. I got to get a pile of stuff together and dig through the me room. Having a knife collection sometimes is more work than it's worth. That's fun, but it's a lot of work sometimes. Anyway, so I'm going to break over this one, folks. Eat your tip thing as always, you know what, you love it. I will see you guys next week, next time, next iteration, next video. I'll see you next time, okay? Catch you guys then. I will see you at that iteration, and I'm out of here. So see you guys later, and catch you guys later.